white Twitch muscle.
That has been Sports Talk with Bryan Callen, brought to you by
everybody.
Stamps.com.
I appreciate that.
So the guy goes, "Oh, you pollo? You want some pollo?" And I go, "Sí, gracias, señor." Maybe, and I make like a smaller with my fingers. He goes, "Pololito." And he goes, everything's free today, man. It's Christmas. Everything's free, but there's a tip jar. And I'm like, this is badass.
That's badass.
And me and Matty Boy are like, yeah, we take the styrofoam cup, and this photo will be up on the Tumblr page too. We get the styrofoam cup, and it's just basically like a red broth soup.
It's probably delicious.
It was really delicious until we realized there was like fucking vertebrae in it and shit.
Oh, boy.
And I saved you some of the bits that I
vertebrae
did not
and cartilage.
eat.
Let me see it.
Yeah, there's a lot of cartilage.
A lot of calcium.
A lot of it got
vertebrae.
thrown out the car window, but if you use that spoon, you'll see there's like actual like neck bone, an Adam's apple.
Here's what you do when you don't.
I knew it was a tranny when I saw the Adam's apple. See that bone in there?
Yes. When you're trying to make a living and you go and get the feet and the spine and all that, and you just cover it in lots of like red broth.
Chickpeas in there. A lot of garbanzo beans.
Throw a bunch of stuff in there.
And there was a cigarette in Maddie's.
Oh.
But I got to tell you this. It was delicious. You want to sip it?
Yeah.
Do it.
Only if you feed it to me.
I'll feed it to you. Are you going to really do it? Or
No, it's disgusting.
It's not?
I don't want I don't want your cartilage soup, dude.
Yeah, Maddie called it cream of beak bisque.
This is to drop a name. I'm with John Leguizamo. We're eating, and he says he gets a text.
I like that. That's your big name.
No.
We went from Ice Cube.
Oh, no.
You had Ice Cube on the table.
It gets much better. He gets a text. He says, "Stick around. You got to meet somebody." I said, "Okay, who do I have to meet?" And he goes, he's kind of giggles, and he goes, "Yeah, Arnold's going to come by." And I go, Arnold. I go, all right.
The pig from Green Acres.
Then it was the pig from Green Acres. And sure enough, in walks.
It's a pig, honey.
It's a piggy. In walks Arnold Schwarzenegger with his assistant. And they sit down, and he hasn't eaten, and he's shooting a movie, and he's staying at the Lowe's because they have a good gym, a full gym.
I love John. I've known him a long time.
I did Collateral Damage together. Anyway, so he sits down, and he has a small bowl. He looks great. 65, trim, big, huge, and I want to see what he's going to eat. And he goes, "I'll just have a small cup of the butternut squash." And he gets that, and he eats a tiny little cup of butternut squash. And we spoke about politics for about 2 hours. I asked him all these questions about what it was like to govern the largest state in the union. Which were we the biggest, or Texas is the biggest, right?
Alaska.
Oh, right.
California,
and so
Texas.
But the most populous, I think. Anyway, so is it?
Per capita, it's New Jersey.
All right, don't pepper my story with facts. I hate facts.
How about this? 7th largest economy in the world is the state of California.
There you go.
That's damn impressive.
Thank you. That's damn impressive. And he talked about how it was impossible, basically, how ungovernable it was to run. By the way, as a side note, please, everybody, I know you won't do it, but if you want to strike to the root of the problem, read Lawrence Lessig's book, Republic Lost. He's a Harvard lawyer who worked in several different administrations, starting with the Reagan administration, about what big money is doing to make this country ungovernable.
Say that shit on your podcast. We don't want a bunch of eggheads on my podcast.
I know, you're right.
That's the Bryan Callen Book Corner. But I was reading our friend
show.
Sam Sheridan, advanced copy of our friend Sam Sheridan's book, The Disaster Diaries.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Dude, I've read it.
Don't you love it?
Yeah, of course.
It really?
He went and learned how to knife fight. He went and learned how to break into a car. He went and learned how to survive on a deer for the winter. I mean, he literally is like, if the apocalypse hits, I got to know how to do all this stuff. And at the end of the day, he basically says, if you're out in the wilderness alone, and I went hunting, by the way, in Montana with Joe Rogan, being out in the elements, even for 4 days,
scary.
with all the gear can suck. You can't stay warm. You can't stay warm. And if you had to live on just deer meat, good luck. You're dead. It's impossible.
There was a book by Joe Kane called Savage, where he's the guy that kept going down into the Quito Indians in the rainforest because Texaco kept buying them out with like sunglasses and old Laker jerseys.
Wow.
So every time he went down, like a year later, there'd be a guy with like Newport Jazz Festival hat, and he knew that guy was gone. Like a fucking hat. And a guy would have sunglasses on from like a gas station, like shitty sunglasses. He goes, "Hi, John, good to see you. These glasses help me see for many kilometers." And he's like, "No, they're sunglasses." And the guy goes, "No, they help me see for many kilometers." And he's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But one thing that he noticed about the people that were indigenous to the rainforest, you'll dig this because you just said the elements when you were hunting with Rogan, is that if you gave 40 bananas, 18 jars of peanut butter, and 16 steaks and like 85 bags of nachos. 4 of these keto Indians would eat all. They'd vomit. They'd come back. They'd finish all of it. They have no concept of saving anything.
The reason is that they're because it's hunter-gatherer tribes. You can't keep anything preserved in that kind of environment because bacteria grows on it so quickly.
It's more mental than that.
You have to eat. They'll eat 40 pounds of meat in one sitting. I mean, literally, so that keeps them for 3 days.
That's more modern. This is way more psychologically.
I see.
This will freak your head out. Okay.
They just keep eating.
They keep saying to themselves what they say at all times: the forest will provide. The forest will provide. And what Kane, and he writes a lot like our buddy Sam Sheridan was, if you save something for later, you are sort of subconsciously admitting, I might need this in case I get hungry. You have to have a blind faith that the forest provides. The moment you let a sliver of, well, what if I don't get something later?
You're dead.
The fear. It's like darkness. It just circles your whole body and cripples you. So these guys have to eat everything all in one sitting because it's there. And you don't leave anything behind. You eat it because it's there. They have no concept of like down the line. Yeah. Well, what if there's no food down the line? Yeah. No, you can't allow that doubt to creep in because you'll go completely insane. And the rainforest is so growing all the time. It literally grows beneath your feet as you're standing there. You can see shit move. Like, wow, how'd this get over my shoe? Because you were standing there for like 2 minutes. Jesus. And Sam Sheridan, me and Matty Boy were talking about this on the way in. We were talking about if the apocalypse comes, what is it better to be aerobically trained, like a marathon runner, or is it better to do aerobics, like sprint training? And ideally, you want to do both. But he discovered through Sam Sheridan, such an interesting guy, man. Fighter's heart, fighter's mind, great podcast guest. He said they found like 2,000-year-old people bones, and they realized you can't outrun a gazelle. No. Gazelle runs 40 miles an hour for like 600 yards, and then it stops.
You can keep running.
But you run for 3 days at 3 miles an hour, and you're able to sweat and cool yourself and drink from a river. The gazelle can only sweat through like its tongue.
That's right.
And the palms of it, the bottom of its feet. So after like 3 days, the gazelle just lays down and says, "Man, fuck it."
That's why human beings are considered the best long distance running animal on the planet.
I think we're the only one.
Yeah, we can outrun anything, even though the American antelope can run 60 miles an hour. That's right. We would just start trotting and just keep trotting
for days,
keep chasing
days.
Yeah, that's a good way to get your food, huh? That's a lot of fun. I'm gonna run 50 miles so I can get a bite of fucking deer.
And you wonder why, people, all the marathon winners from like Kenya, these people probably are running for real, running the longest in their...
At a very high altitude. You're not beating them in anything.
Nothing?
Not in long distance, you're not. The Ethiopians, the Kenyans, the topography, especially Kenya, is a high elevation.
What about driving a stick shift? I'll blow the shit out of a Kenyan driving a stick shift.
It's a very good question.
What if I get an 18-wheeler and go, okay, Kenyan, you're up?
It's another good question.
But how about lacing sneakers under pressure?
The thing about agriculture and learning how to grow.
I'm not going to fight for that joke. I'll just let it sit there.
I liked it. I liked it.
They run barefoot, you see.
Oh. Well, you know why you're supposed to run. You know where it comes from.
Yeah, because you can't afford shoes. Don't get into a big. They don't do it for science.
No.
They do it because they don't have shoes.
You want to have, but now even with runners.
Now rich judo guy on the beach running. Sure, you and Mike Catherwood running.
Rich judo guy.
Yeah, Mike Catherwood, Psycho Mike runs with me. I go, you want to come with me on my run? He goes, sure, and he takes off his shoes, and I'm like, oh shit.
He's in shape.
Him and my priest, Father Tim, when you go to run with somebody and all of a sudden they're running way faster than your daily routine, and you go, hey, okay, why don't we dial it back a little bit?
You can keep
Catherwood's barefoot, and he's gone. And he's wearing clothes like he's got a meeting afterwards. He's wearing like a nice zip up.
Yeah, he's in shape.
He's wearing pants.
Yeah, he's in shape.
I'm in like, gym shorts and like a Ruka shirt.
He's got a strong jaw, full head of hair. He's just in ridiculous
Just
shape.
got married. Congrats, Mike Catherwood.
I'd like to see Mike Catherwood in the shower, and I'm a straight man. Mike? Yeah,
so Kenyans, they run barefoot. Why? What's the
science?
Well, no,
now because
science?
Anatomically,
the Kenyan scientists.
You know how you put on a shoe and you strike heel toe.
Yes.
Okay, and so Nike made these very cushiony heels. That came out of Prefontaine's coach, who kind of said you can have a longer stride if you run that way. And I don't know the whole story, but so you had a whole generation of runners, several generations running heel to toe. marathon runners. The problem with that is that anatomically your body is not supposed to run that way. So it caused all kinds of knee and ankle and hip
Supposed to run up
problems
the ball of
and
your
back
foot,
problems.
but that's hard to learn.
Anatomically, if I put you out there and you try to run barefoot the way the cavemen did, and you run heel to toe, good luck. You trash your foot in 1 minute. So now most runners are running their mid plants. You run on not the ball, but sort of in the ball and the sort of the middle part of your foot.
Are you still doing like judo? Are you still doing like judo and stuff?
No, I'm buying jiu-jitsu mats. I'm putting them out there, and my buddy Kieran Gallagher, who's a badass and can tie me in a knot with one hand, is going to come out and start rolling with me, and then maybe.
Ronda Rousey.
Oh, I got to talk about her.
Yeah, we met her. I have a new radio show, Fox Sports AM 570 here in Los Angeles. Check your local listings, J Mohr Sports. Bryan is going to be a part of it. It's Fight Time with Bryan Callen. We'll do it once a week.
I can't believe that. I can't wait.
And you'll move a lot of tickets that way because it'll be nationally syndicated. It'll be good.
God.
So me and Matty Boy go over to Fox, to the Petros and Money show, the Fox lot, because they wanted to have me on to announce it to L.A. And Ronda Rousey was the other guest. And you're sitting there looking at she's like a pretty girl.
She's
She's certainly not like fighter pretty. She's like, if you just saw her at the market, you'd go, oh, that's a pretty girl.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But she has a back like me.
Yeah. She was a judo. She was an Olympic
bronze
judo competitor.
Judo.
Yeah.
You know that bothers her. If I was a bronze medalist, it would bother me the rest of my life. Silver, I think I could live with because it's like, hey, man, that was the guy. To know that I was in the round robin for the bronze, that would bother me the rest of my life.
Not in the Olympics, though. That's pretty cool.
It's the old Jerry Seinfeld joke. First place, second place, never heard of you. And they're like this far apart in like the sprint. First, second,
dude.
never heard of you.
How about swimming? The difference between fourth place.
3 seconds later, also never heard of you.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's 2 blinks of an eye. Downhill skiing, the difference between fourth place and first place in the last Olympics was 2 blinks of an eye. 2 blinks of an eye. Bang, bang. Oh, this ready? There, just blink twice. You don't get anything. Go home. Go home, nothing.
Thanks for training.
And go home. I mean, that's ridiculous.
And here comes the last place guy. Yeah. In this conversation just now, the absolute dead last guy came in a minute ago.
That's right. Not even. It's ridiculous. And swimming's the same way.
The weird thing about Ronda Rousey is when you look at her, she's just like an attractive girl, and you go, all right, and you go, okay, all right, whatever. This is weird. And then she was going to put Petros in an armbar. Petros Papadakis was a tailback at USC, so he's a grown up. He's a grown man.
Yeah.
So they stand up on the radio, and me and Maddie are sitting off to the side just watching, and she goes, so we're going to do this? And he's like, yeah, but take it easy. And they're just standing next to each other. It's like when you stare at a dog, and the dog gets that weird look in its eye, and like before you realize, the dog just goes, ah! It was literally 2 people standing up, and she got this guy.
Yeah.
Petros is a grown man.
She's got the best armbar in the business.
And she
maybe even among guys, too.
She just took him from a standing up to putting his face down on the counter and put him in like a nice armbar.
Yeah. She's got the best armbar in the business. And the question is for Ronda Rousey is when someone neutralizes that armbar, when they take that armbar away from her, the question is what is she going to do from there? And I think that she's obviously an incredible competitor and a ridiculous athlete. I also think she's hot as hell. I think I just love her. I like everything about that girl. The thing is what happens when somebody can stay away from her and box really well.
Well, so far everyone knows going in they're going to get armbarred.
It's unbelievable.
And they train.
And not to be
3 months.
It's not that armbar is hard to get on top level fighters. You can get pretty good. A lot of people get really good at defending an armbar. It's the first thing you learn almost is defend triangle and armbar.
But of her opponents, you'll agree with me, spend 3 months in a gym. They box, they they do their Muay Thai, whatever their specialty is, and they go, but now we're going to do the last hour where we just defend the armbar. And every one of her fights, it's just her with somebody in an armbar and them tapping out, freaking out. It's the weirdest thing.
She's so explosive and strong, and her positioning, her ability to kind of like get position on you because of her judo, her hips, and she's so fast. She the minute you make one little mistake, she'll lead you into making a mistake. If you watch Olympic judo, it's not in a lot of ways nearly as intricate and as dimensional as, say, jiu-jitsu, or in my opinion even wrestling. But those takedowns, the margin for error with judo is so unbelievable.
And they're in a gi too.
They're in a gi.
And you can grab the gi. I know you can.
They also grab wrists. They also grab arms. So you can grab gi, but you can also grab the body. They grab your
gi.